PJ Cuenca. I'm a professional knife throwing instructor. I started knife throwing in 2013, and I've been throwing ever since then. I've been a member of the International Knife Throwers Hall of Fame. I'm currently a member of the Eurothrow organization, and I actually was the founder of Blade Aces Las Vegas, which is a knife throwing team established in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2018. Now, I'm here because I want to help the Filipinos, my mga kababayan, to learn how to become better and to master the sport of knife throwing so we can represent the Philippines in international competition. Now, before I go ahead and do that, let me go over what I call the 5 commandments of knife throwing. Number 1, don't throw at living things. No live trees, no animals, and definitely no humans. Don't throw at live trees. If you hit a tree that's alive, if you break the bark of the tree, the outside of the tree, pwedeng pasukan ng mga sapa, okay? It can kill the tree, so that's not good. Number 2, check your backstop and rebound area. Make sure that the area where you're throwing doesn't have any windows or area that if you miss, it'll go to the neighbor's yard. Be very careful. Also, make sure that when you're throwing that area, once you throw, if your knife bounces back, there's nothing that can be hit there. Please don't throw anywhere near children. If there's children around, or if there's any animals, please don't do that. Commandment number 3, maintain your equipment. Make sure your equipment is nice and clean and you're able to throw it without hurting yourself. Sometimes if you're throwing your knife at a target and you have 3 or more knives, there's a really high possibility that your knives will hit each other, okay? When a knife hits each other, sometimes there's a piece of metal that will stick out. It's kind of sharp. If you grab that piece and you cut your hand is going to be in pain. It makes your throwing different. So make sure you check your equipment and you're nice and clean. And there are no sharp edges. Which brings me to number 4, no sharp blades. Especially with knives, because we throw knives by the handle and by the blade. If your knife is sharp, there's a really good chance you're going to cut yourself. Okay, so make sure that's what you make sure you do that. And number 5, which is really hard for us Filipinos, is no open-toed shoes. Okay, a mosquito bit me. No open-toed shoes, meaning chinelas like these are no, okay? No slippers, especially if you're throwing. The reason is because if you throw and it bounces, it's going to hit your foot, okay? Now, some people get really good and are able to dodge that. Good for you. Me, I actually throw with flip-flops with my slippers, okay? It makes me comfortable. I'm in the Philippines, I'm wearing shorts, it's hot outside, I will do that. But for most people, especially if you're training somebody, please make sure that they're covering their feet with, they have covered shoes. Damn mosquitoes are biting me, man. Okay, first of all, we're going to choose our throwing knife. Now, this is a True Balance thrower, created by Bobby Branton. I've modified it a little bit to suit my purposes, the way that I throw. This is 13 inches and weighs about 14.5 grams. This is a knife made by Hogue. Hogue, as you can see, Hogue makes grips for guns. They have a specialty line of knives that they have. And my team, Blade Aces, was the very first team out there, organization, was sponsored by a major knife making company. Hogue makes really high-end knives for Sig Sauer. They make stuff for for Navy SEALs. I mean, they make some really expensive stuff. These were made specifically for our team. This is made out of a special steel. The steel is made for chisels, the kind of chisels that they use for jackhammers to break down the roads. So this is a super hard steel. It's very hard to dent. Okay, it's also very heavy. This is 14 inches. It weighs about 17.5 grams. Very heavy. Okay, it hits with a lot of authority. When it sticks in a target, it sticks. All right, it sticks hard, very hard. Also, if you notice the design of this knife, the front end is actually the same, almost the back end. This is not allowed to point, to stick. Okay, but because of that, my grip feels the same front and back. It's a little bit wider here, okay? Slimmer in the back. But the design makes it so there's a good amount of balance. They made a cutout. This is a super hard steel. Made a cutout to make it lighter. Because with just this much metal in the middle, this one was weighing close to 19 grams. There's a lot of weight to throw, especially if you have to throw from 7 meters, okay? Now, other knives some people like to throw are things like these, okay? This is made by SOG. We used to be sponsored by SOG. That is my ex-wife, Melody. This is a 9.5-inch knife. This originally comes with wrap around the handle, which made it stick, and I don't like knives with that because the texture makes it stick to your hand, and you don't want it to stick, especially the way we throw with a pinch grip. When I throw, I hold near the very end, so the weight of the knife is what pulls it from my hand. I don't let it go. It pulls, so the speed of my throw, so when I throw, the speed of my throw, the momentum, it would be the inertial force, okay? Pulls it away from my hand. I'm not sure about the term. It could be centrifugal or centripetal. I think it's centripetal force, but pulls it away from my hand. Okay, this is allowable to throw. I'm not really happy with because these are stainless steel, which means they're super hard and they break. These are hard, but they're made out of a metal that allows it to absorb the shock. Okay, so it's hard on the outside, but kind of soft on the inside. These knives, by True Balance, are pretty much a perfect blend, okay? I like to paint knives, it's like my style. Some people like to keep their knives clean. This is me. I like to throw what I like to throw. The orange, let me explain to you why there's an orange tape on this, and you might want to do this with your knives later on. Like I said, this is a 13-inch knife. I've been looking at the Filipino knife throwers page, and the knives that I see there, you guys are mostly throwing no-spin knives. No-spin knife, the minimum size for no-spin, I think it's 9 inches, okay? So anything more than 9 inches you can use for no-spin in competition. However, you can't really throw no-spin with a whole lot of accuracy compared to rotational. Yeah, I know my friends Adam Sheldon and RC Samples and some of the other guys like Sergey in Russia can throw it with accuracy. But even then, I have still to see a no-spin thrower go up against a professional no-spin thrower, go up against a professional rotational thrower and beat the rotational thrower. Rotational thrower is much more accurate. The difference between rotational and no-spin. You have to be a lot more accurate. It needs more skill. But if you have a rifle, it's easier because you have a scope and it's more steady. It's a more consistent throw, just like this. So when I throw my knife, it's a straight line. Okay, follow that same line over and over. So when I hit my target, and I aim at the center of that target, center line of that target, when I go through that bullseye, I go for the widest part of the bullseye. The 4-inch bullseye is my target. So I just have to adjust up or down. Not left and right anymore, it's up or down is what I adjust. And I'll explain that to you guys at a later video, okay? So, if I were you, I would choose a nice size knife. The reason for the big knives also is because of rotation. When you throw a knife like this, when it spins, it takes up a lot of space, okay, because it's a big knife. So when I'm standing at 3 meters and I throw at a target 3 meters away with a full spin, it will hit the target perfectly. When I have a short knife, it'll land and miss, or it'll have to spin more. So instead of one full spin, to reach it, it might take 1.5 spin. This is where it counts. The orange tape tells you how you're throwing. So let's say I'm throwing in one spin and my knife lands like this, straight horizontal. This is a perfect throw, meaning the circle that it makes ended up exactly where it needs to be. So it penetrates the wood, it sticks hard. If I am too close, my knife will land like this. This means you're too close. Step back. Because when you step back, it'll land like this again. So that circle will land here. If you're too far, your knife will land here. It will overspin. Okay? So you have to come closer. Again. Okay? So point up, go back. Point down, come closer. And that pretty much covers the lesson that I want to teach you guys when it comes to knife throwing. You'll see I'll be showing you guys how I throw outside.